Yeah. Okay, good, good. So, okay, fine. We'll continue. We'll continue with vectors. So, we are supposed to talk about addition of vectors. Okay. So, some of these slides we had lost. Sorry about that. Maybe I'll write it on paper and post it on Google Classroom as usual. Okay. So, addition of vectors. Okay. See here. Let us deal with addition of two vectors at a time. Say we have two vectors A bar and B bar, and we are supposed to find A bar plus B bar. This is also called resultant vector. Okay. A bar plus B bar is called resultant vector of A bar and B bar. When you add two vectors, what you get is a resultant. Okay. What you get is a vector quantity again. A bar plus B bar is also a vector quantity. So it will have a magnitude as well as direction. So we'll see how to know that magnitude and direction. Okay. There are some laws which tell you how to do this, which tell you how to add two vectors. The first one we will deal is what is called as triangle law of vector addition. Okay. The second one is an extension of triangle law, which we will call the polygon law of vector addition. The third one is a specific law, parallelogram law of vector addition. So it all is based on geometry that you have already learned. Okay. I'll give a small gist of what happens in vector addition. Say, for example, a man starts from A, goes to a point B. Okay, whatever path he takes, it doesn't matter. A man starts from A, goes to a point B. His displacement is then written as a vector A bar. This is a vector. Okay, if you join A and B with a straight line, that will be the magnitude of his displacement. If you join from A to B with an arrow head, that will show the direction of displacement. Okay, his initial displacement vector is A bar. Okay. Now, if he goes from B to another point, say C, he goes from a point B to C. His second displacement vector is denoted like this: from B to C, a straight line with an arrow head from B to C. Maybe we'll call that vector as small letter B bar. Now he has a couple of displacements, right? He went from A to B first, and then from B he went to C. For a person who only saw the point A and point C, he will think the man has an ultimate displacement of. The man has a total displacement of A to C. The man got displaced from A to C. So his total displacement is nothing but this vector, AC bar. Basically, from the diagram, you know that AC bar is nothing but the total of AB bar and BC bar. Okay, if we call this vector as C bar, you know that C bar is equal to A bar plus B bar. Is it not? It's a straightforward thing. If a man goes from A to B, you say that he got displaced from A to B. If he goes from B to C, you say that he got displaced from B to C. Overall, you will say that he got displaced from A to C. So you say AC bar equal to AB bar plus BC bar. Is it not? This is a very simple thing to understand. The man was at A, now the man is at C, so his displacement is AC bar, which is nothing but the total displacement. But there had been instantaneous displacement, there had been some smaller displacements in between. One small A bar and one small B bar. You add them, you get the total displacement. Okay. This is basically the statement for triangle law of vector addition. Triangle law of vector addition says that whatever vectors you need to add, say for example, A bar and B bar are the vectors you need to add. You can only add two vectors at a time. Using triangle law of vector addition, you can only add two vectors at a time. Say for example, those two vectors are these, A bar and B bar. You need to add them. What do I do? Triangle law tells you to draw these two vectors successively first. Okay, you have to draw these two vectors successively first. Means what? Draw A bar, same length, same direction, and then wherever you stop drawing A bar, start drawing B bar, the second vector. Of course, in the same direction as B bar with the same magnitude. Hopefully, this is the same direction. So this is what means that you have drawn A bar and B bar in successively. Okay. So you have drawn A bar and B bar successively, one after the other. When two vectors to be added or drawn successively, then the vector joining the initial point of the first vector to the final point of the last vector, this is the resultant of those two vectors. This is the vector A bar plus B bar. This is what is called as triangle law of vector addition. If you want a statement, it goes like this. When two vectors to be added or drawn successively, then their resultant is given by the closing side of the triangle. So you already have two sides. If you have to form a triangle, you have to draw the third side, closing side we call that. Closing side of the triangle taken in opposite orientation. I'll tell you the meaning of that word shortly. Okay, taken in opposite orientation. What does that mean? Okay, so if this is A bar and if this is B bar, their resultant, we have drawn them successively now. Their resultant is given by the closing side of the triangle. So this is the closing side, but it needs to be a vector. So I have to assign it some direction. I have to put an arrow head there. In what direction should I put arrow? Okay, so you see A bar and B bar. A bar is this way and B bar is this way. So they kind of form a clockwise direction, is it not? They kind of form a clockwise direction. The direction put on the third vector, okay, the third line, the closing side of the triangle, should be in such a way that it is opposite the given orientation. So if this is clockwise, the arrowhead here should point anti-clockwise. Okay, so if I put an arrowhead this way, this will again mean clockwise only, no? But that is not the direction. So that is why we put this way. The arrowhead is this way so that it means anti-clockwise direction. That is what we mean by opposite orientation. Understood? So it's a simple thing. Don't worry about this. The words may not be exactly understandable, but they need to mean something. So that's why the words are a little harsh, but this is what it is. A bar and B bar are to be added. So you draw them successively. First draw A bar, then draw B bar. Successively you draw them, and then closing side of the triangle. So in simpler words, I could say the vector that joins the initial point of first vector to the final point of last vector. So it will also have direction now. That would be A bar plus B bar. Okay. So maybe if this is A bar and this is B bar, add them. So you draw A bar, successively you draw B bar. The closing side of the triangle taken in opposite direction is nothing but the resultant vector A bar plus B bar. Okay. What if you draw B bar first and then A bar? You're supposed to draw two vectors, like add two vectors. You have to draw them successfully. But we started with A bar and ended with B bar here. So what if we can draw two times, like any differently? What if I draw B bar first? We'll try. If this is B bar, wherever you stop drawing B bar, start drawing A bar. That's all. So this would be A bar. Same direction as this, same magnitude as that. If this is B bar and A bar, you have drawn them successively. Closing side of the triangle taken in opposite direction. So now these are in anti-clockwise direction. That should be taken in clockwise direction. So closing side is this. Clockwise direction means this. So this is nothing but A bar plus B bar. So if you see, in fact, this vector here and this vector here are kind of same. They are on the same direction and they have the same magnitude. How do you know they are in the same magnitude? If you try to join these two diagrams, you probably get a parallelogram. That is what comes to parallelogram law of vector addition later. Okay, then you'll get a parallelogram. This is a common diagonal, so you'll understand that. No, so it does not matter if you add B bar to A bar or if you add A bar to B bar. Doesn't matter. In both the cases, you will get same resultant. So we can have a law here saying A bar plus B bar is equal to B bar plus A bar. Do you remember what is this law called? This is called commutative law. Okay, this is called commutative law of vector addition, or vector addition obeys commutative law. It does not matter in which order you add vectors, it will all be the same total ultimately. Okay, when you add vectors, it will all be in the same direction. Like in whatever order you add vectors, you'll always get the same resultant. Understood this? Addition of vectors, this is called. This is triangle law. What about parallelogram law? Sorry, polygon law. Polygon law is just an extension of triangle law. Triangle law was used to add two vectors at a time. You can add several vectors at a time using polygon law. This is A bar, this is B bar. maybe this is C bar, and this is B bar, and this is E bar. Let us say these are the vectors. You want to add them. How do I add them? You can use polygon law. You don't have to use triangle law a lot of times, but that is what polygon law means anyway. The statement goes like this. When any number of vectors to be added or drawn in succession, when any number of vectors to be added or drawn successively, then their resultant is given by the vector joining the initial point of the first vector to the final point of the last vector. Okay. So if A bar is this, successively draw B bar, meaning from there you draw B bar. From wherever you ended drawing B bar, draw C bar. From there you draw D bar. From there you draw E bar. So now we have drawn A bar, B bar, C bar, D bar and E bar all successively, one after the other. Does the order matter here? We just saw vector addition is commutative in nature. Order does not matter at all. You could have drawn this in any direction possible, any order possible. Okay. So we have drawn all the 5 vectors to be added in succession. Now their resultant is given by the closing side of the polygon taken in opposite direction, or in simpler words, joining the first point of the first vector to the last point of the last vector. Initial point of the first vector to the final point of the last vector. This is nothing but A bar plus B bar plus C bar plus D bar plus E bar. That is what this vector means. Okay. So how do we know that? We can see polygon law is just basically triangle law extended. See, if you want to see how, see, this is A bar and this is B bar. They are drawn in succession only. A bar and B bar are in succession, which means the closing side of the triangle should be their resultant. So this vector here is nothing but A bar plus B bar. Okay. Now A bar plus B bar and C bar are in succession. You see, they are in succession. So when you add those two, the closing side of their triangle gives you their resultant, A bar plus B bar plus C bar. Now that and D bar are in succession. So the closing side of that triangle, whatever triangle it is, this vector is A bar plus B bar plus C bar plus D bar. Now that is in succession with E bar. When you add that, when you add those two, you'll get basically this vector. Okay, so basically polygon law is just an extension of triangle law. Okay, triangle law is used to add 2 vectors at a time. Polygon law is used to add several vectors at a time. That is the only difference. Okay, the statement is again as simple as that of triangle law. Instead of 2, you just write any number of vectors. When vectors to be added or drawn successively, then their resultant is given by the closing side of the polygon taken in the opposite orientation. That is the statement, official statement. Okay, triangle law you say 2 and triangle. For polygon law you don't say that. Instead of triangle you say polygon. That's all. That's all the differences. Understood? Okay, so hopefully you understood. Maybe I'll give a question. There is a triangle. This vector is A bar, this is B bar, this is C bar, but I have to specify directions. This is A bar, this is C bar, this is B bar. Now, I have specified directions with 3 names, A bar, B bar and C bar. Looking at the triangle, tell me which vector is the sum of the other 2 vectors. Which vector is the sum of the other 2 vectors? Write it in the chat, I'll check. Which is the sum of the other 2? So you have to say dash plus dash equal to dash. Like that you have to say. Agara Mudal one says A plus C equal to B. A plus B equal to C. A plus B equal to C. Is it right? Which 2 vectors are in succession here? See, A bar is this. A bar ki initial point is this. Final point is this. But then B bar also, like A bar and B bar are co-terminal, man. Can you see this? A bar and B bar are basically co-terminal vectors. Because they are co-terminal vectors, they are not in succession. You cannot add them using triangle law. Okay. So the 2 vectors that are in succession here are these, C bar and then A bar. C bar comma A bar are successively drawn. They are in succession. Okay, so you can add them, and when you add them, what you get is a resultant, which is the closing side of the triangle, taken in opposite direction. So from the initial point of C to the final point of A must be the resultant. And yes, B bar is directed that way only. So clearly C bar plus A bar is nothing but B bar. Understood? Understood or not? Good. So in that case, we'll move on. Another question I'll give. Okay. This is C bar, this is A bar, this is B bar. Three vectors form a triangle as shown. C bar, A bar and B bar. A, B, C. A bar, B bar, C bar. Three vectors. Now tell me, which two of them should be added to get the other one? Or is there any possibility where one of the sides is equal to, one of the vectors is equal to sum of the other two? Giri Prakash, yes, say no, yes, correct. No is the answer here. No two of them, see, any two of them are in succession. If you think about it, A bar and B bar are in succession. B bar and C bar are in succession. C bar and A bar are also in succession, right? So any two of them are in succession. So I could say A bar plus B bar can be added using triangle law. But when you try to add A bar and B bar, the resultant vector must be this way. But C bar is in opposite direction. So A bar plus B bar equal to C bar is a wrong statement. However, you could say A bar plus B bar is equal to minus C bar. That is right. Is it not? C bar is as given as this. The opposite vector in the same with the same magnitude would be minus C bar only. So A bar plus B bar can be read as or can be written as minus C bar. In fact, I can bring this minus C bar to the other side and can say A bar plus B bar plus C bar is equal to 0 bar. Sum of all three vectors is basically 0. Okay. In other terms, a man starts from here, undergoes a displacement like this, and then undergoes a displacement like this, and then undergoes a displacement like this. He has come back to the same point again. Has come back to the initial point again. So what must be the total displacement of the man? Must be 0. Makes sense or not? So you will have to observe the arrowheads. Arrowheads are very important for vectors. That is why I'm saying, like when you draw vectors, you have to be very sure about arrowheads. I hope you understood. Clear is this? Okay, good. Now another example. Say for example, we have a right angle triangle. Okay. If this is A bar and this is B bar and this is C bar. Okay, I'm giving names now. This is capital A, capital B, capital A here. Okay, so now A bar and B bar are in succession. If you add A bar and B bar using triangle law, you should get the resultant as the closing side. But in what direction? I need this. C bar equal to what? You need to tell me the answer as a vector with points. You remember how we denote a vector with points? P, Q bar, S, T bar, like that. B to A, B to A, B A bar. Right, correct. So you understand the concept? Oh, what? Yeah, correct. So A bar plus B bar gives you, if C bar is equal to A bar plus B bar, then C bar must be equal to B A bar. Very good. So like that you have to think. Understood now? So you understand what is addition of vectors diagrammatically. Is it not? Okay. So now we'll try to extend the vectors to parallelogram law. Parallelogram law of vector addition. Okay. For parallelogram law, again you can add two vectors like this, say A bar and B bar. I have to add these two vectors. How do I do? The statement goes like this. When two vectors to be added, this also can only add two vectors at a time. When two vectors to be added or drawn co-initially. Okay. When two vectors to be added or drawn co-initially, and a parallelogram is constructed on them. A parallelogram is constructed on them. Then their resultant means addition of two vectors, is given by the co-initial diagonal of the parallelogram. Their resultant is given by their co-initial diagonal of the parallelogram. This is a statement for parallelogram law of vector addition. Again, you add two vectors, but this time you don't draw them in succession. You draw the two vectors to be added co-initially with the same initial point. Okay, when you draw like that, and then you construct a parallelogram on them. When you are given two adjacent sides, you should be able to draw a parallelogram on those two sides. Okay, so when you draw the parallelogram, that parallelogram will have two diagonals, right? One of those diagonals will be co-initial with the given two vectors. That diagonal is the resultant. Okay, what does this mean? Say I'll add these two vectors, a bar and b bar. Okay, how do I do? First of all, you have to draw them co-initially. So take a bar, draw it like this, and draw b bar as if it is co-initial with a bar. See how freely we are able to change the position of a bar and b bar. I can take a bar anywhere. If I draw another vector in the same direction with the same magnitude, I can call that also a bar. That is what I mean as three vectors. I can take it anywhere and draw them anywhere I want. Okay, that's what. Anyway, so if a bar and b bar are drawn as co-initial, right, with the matching initial point, and a parallelogram is constructed on it. How do I draw a parallelogram? I have to draw a side parallel to b bar passing through the other vertex of a bar. I have to draw a side parallel to a bar passing through other vertex of b bar. Now you have completed a parallelogram. You have constructed a parallelogram on a bar and b bar as adjacent sides. This parallelogram will have two diagonals. One this, the other this. The red one and the green one. These are the two diagonals of the parallelogram. One of these diagonals shares the initial point with a bar and b bar. A bar and b bar share the initial point here. The diagonal that shares the initial point is a green one. So answer is green one surely. But then in what direction? I have to put a direction to this vector, no resultant. In what direction? The initial point of the resultant also matches with the initial point of a bar and b bar. Meaning this is the direction of the diagonal that I have to consider. Okay. So if I draw a bar and b bar co-initially and a parallelogram is constructed on it, then the co-initial diagonal of the parallelogram is their resultant. You guys understood? Understand? So that is the concept of parallelogram law of vector addition. But anyway, if you think about it, if this is a bar and this is b bar, see if I draw b bar here, if I say this is b bar, nothing wrong. You can say that same magnitude, same direction. If this is b bar, now you see a bar and b bar are in succession. So closing side should be their resultant. So this basically is a resultant. That's all. This is from triangle law. This is basically parallelogram law. So triangle law and parallelogram law not exactly very different. Okay. Just the statements seem to be different, but they're all one and the same. Basically, to summarize the whole thing, when you draw vectors successively, then the resultant of all the vectors is the vector that joins the initial point of the first vector to the final point of the last vector. That is the ultimate statement. Okay, you can say this statement for two vectors at a time. It will become triangle law. You can say this statement with not with succession but with co-initial. It becomes a parallelogram law, right? Otherwise, it will simply be a polygon law. Okay, so all three laws are quite similar the way they work. Understood? So these are the three laws of vector addition, and any quantity that obeys these laws of vector addition, this way of adding, that will be a vector quantity. Okay, so yeah, next slide we'll try to find. So we understand how to find the direction of the resultant of two vectors. Now we'll try to find the magnitude of resultant. How to calculate or measure magnitude of resultant of two vectors. Okay, before going into that, we need to know what we know. We need to gather the information about what do we know. What we know are two vectors, a bar and b bar. Say maybe this is a bar and maybe this is b bar. Okay, this is what we know as of now. Okay, and regarding those two vectors, what do I know? We know that magnitude of a bar equal to a, let us say. Say we know magnitude of b bar equal to b units, let us say. Say we also know that angle between a bar and b bar is theta. This also we know. So these three things are what we know to start with. Okay. I have two vectors, A bar and B bar. I know their magnitudes A and B. I know the angle between them, theta. Starting with these, I need to calculate the magnitudes, resultant's magnitude or magnitude of resultant. This is what I need to calculate. How do I do that? I can use any of the three laws of vector addition to calculate this or to measure this. I'll use parallelogram law. Okay. So that is there in the textbook also. So it will be easy for you to refer. So I'll use parallelogram law. First I'll do it diagrammatically. So this is A bar as shown. This is B bar as shown, let us say. I'm just drawing it bigger. Okay, anyway, why confused? This is B bar, okay? Magnitude of this is equal to A, magnitude of this is equal to B. Means the length of that side is A, length of this side is B. That's what it means. And then if you construct a parallelogram on it, and you draw a co-initial diagonal for the parallelogram. Okay, this vector would be A bar plus B bar. But I need to calculate only magnitude, which means I have to calculate the length of this diagonal. That is all. I have to calculate the length of that diagonal. What else do I know? I know this angle as theta. That is what we know. Okay. How do I do that? What we can do is I can extend this side and I can drop a perpendicular from the shown point. This is a perpendicular. I just extended the base, B bar. I dropped the perpendicular from the end of the diagonal, tip of the diagonal. Okay. So now see what I have is a couple of right angle triangles. See, I have this right angle triangle. I also have this right angle triangle. Okay. In the green right angle triangle, I know that this side is A because in parallelogram, opposite sides are equal in length. And I know this angle is theta because in a parallelogram, two sides are parallel, and when two lines are parallel and a transversal is drawn, corresponding angles would be equal. This angle here and this angle here are called corresponding angles, right? So that is theta. I know A and I know theta. Let us say this is Y and let us say this is X. In the green triangle, green right angle triangle. From basic trigonometry, I know that X by A is equal to cos theta, adjacent side by hypotenuse. Upon X must be equal to A cos theta. Similarly, I know that Y by A is equal to sin theta. Then Y must be equal to A sin theta. If it's needed, we'll use it. So I have X is equal to A cos theta. So in a green right angle triangle, I have X, I have Y both. Now in the red right angle triangle, basically you have to calculate the length of the hypotenuse, magnitude of A bar plus B bar. And by Pythagoras theorem, you know the square of hypotenuse of a right angle triangle is equal to sum of the squares of the other two sides, is it not? So basically you know that magnitude of A bar plus B bar, which is hypotenuse of the red right angle triangle, is equal to square root of sum of squares of the other two sides. Square root of what is the other two sides? One side is Y and one side is B plus X, not just X. The whole side, this one. The whole side is B plus X. So I can write B plus X whole square plus Y square is nothing but, under root is nothing but magnitude of resultant. I know X and I know Y both in terms of A and B sin theta. So I can substitute that. So I have root of B plus X is A cos theta, the whole squared, plus A square sin square theta. Y is nothing but A sin theta. So square of that is A square sin square theta. Okay. So the magnitude of A bar plus B bar is equal to, what is expansion of this? B plus A cos theta whole square. What is expansion of that? B square plus A square cos square theta plus 2BA cos theta. Or I can say 2AB cos theta. Both are same. Right? B plus A cos theta whole square is B square plus A square cos square theta plus 2AB cos theta. And that is added to A square sin square theta. So you have a term A square cos square theta and A square sin square theta. You are going to add them. In these two terms, you have A square common. In these two terms, you have A square common. It becomes A square into cos square theta plus sin square theta. from trigonometry, you know that cos square theta plus sin square theta equal to 1. Because this is equal to 1, what is a square into 1? A square. So basically, what happens is, in this formula, magnitude of a bar plus b bar is equal to square root of, what do you have? B square, this one, okay, b square plus a square cos square theta plus a square sin square theta is a square plus, what is left? 2ab cos theta. Okay, if you know the magnitude of two vectors to be added and the angle between them, theta, then the magnitude of their resultant is given by square root of a square plus b square plus 2ab cos theta. We'll even write it in a new slide, maybe big. Magnitude of a bar plus b bar is equal to root of a square plus b square plus 2ab cos theta. Okay, what is a? This is nothing but magnitude of a bar. What is b? This is nothing but magnitude of b bar. What is theta? This is the angle between a bar and b bar. Whatever vectors you are adding, angle between those two vectors is what you substitute in theta. Understood or not? So that is what it is. Quite simple. Magnitude of the resultant of two vectors is given by this formula. There is a special case, of course. A special case is like if magnitude of a bar is equal to magnitude of b bar is equal to, say, k. Then both the vectors have equal magnitude. Maybe they are in some directions, like they are aligned at an angle theta. They are not in the same direction, but their magnitudes are same, let us say. Okay. In that case, magnitude of a bar plus b bar is equal to square root of k square plus k square plus 2 into k into cos theta. K square plus k square is 2k square plus 2 into k is 2k square cos theta. From the two terms, I can take 2k square common, leaving me 1 plus cos theta. Okay, so the magnitude of a bar plus b bar becomes square root of 2 into k square into 1 plus cos theta. From trigonometry, 1 plus cos theta can be written as 2 cos square of theta by 2. Okay, 2 cos square of theta by 2. 1 plus cos theta can be written as 2 cos square of theta by 2. I hope trigonometry has been taught to you. I think in maybe 10th standard or early 11th standard you might have studied this. Has trigonometry been taught to you? Let me know in the chat. Has trigonometry been taught to you? Multiple angles, sine 2 theta, cos 2 theta, such things have been taught to you or not? Yes, good, very good. So if they have been taught to you, you should know this. 1 plus cos theta equal to 2 cos square of theta by 2. So this 1 plus cos theta can be written as 2 into cos square of theta by 2. Okay. So 2 into 2 is 4. Square root of 4 is 2 again. Square root of k square is k again. Square root of cos square theta is cos theta, sorry. Cos of theta by 2. Okay. So if two vectors, like, see, general formula for magnitude of resultant is this. Magnitude of a bar plus b bar is root of a square plus b square plus 2ab cos theta. However, if two vectors are equal in magnitude, then there is a simpler formula like this. If both the vectors are of magnitude k and they are at an angle theta between them, then the resultant is given by 2k cos of theta by 2. Meaning, if two vectors are of equal magnitude, it means it's not a parallelogram. It's a rhombus now. It is not a parallelogram anymore. Adjacent sides are equal in length now. So that would be a rhombus, a special case of parallelogram. Likewise, we have a special case for magnitude of resultant. This formula 2k of cos theta by 2. Okay. Now, look at the parallelogram. The angle between these two sides is theta. The diagonal is this. In a parallelogram, is a diagonal an angular bisector or not? In a parallelogram, is a diagonal, any diagonal, is it an angular bisector or not? No. In a parallelogram, the diagonal need not be an angular bisector. If this is a parallelogram, if this angle is, say, for example, theta, this is the diagonal. This angle is not equal to theta by 2. Remember that. Diagonals of a parallelogram are not angular bisectors. Okay? Diagonals of a parallelogram are not angular bisectors. If a diagonal needs to be an angular bisector, it must be, the condition must be that the adjacent sides are equal in length. Okay, so if it is a rhombus, then the diagonal would be angular bisector. Okay, rhombus can also be drawn like this. They draw it like a thumb, diamond. Anywhere. What must be that angle does not matter, but in a rhombus, the diagonals are angular bisectors. In a parallelogram, the diagonals need not be angular bisectors. Okay? Please understand that concept, important. Understood? Okay, fine. Is there a way to calculate this angle anyway? If this angle is alpha, is there a way to calculate the angle? Yeah, you can. How to calculate the angle between two vectors? Angle between resultant made with another vector. Okay, so if this is A bar and this is B bar, and you construct a parallelogram on them, you have drawn them co-initially. So the co-initial diagonal basically is the resultant, A bar plus B bar. I know the magnitude of resultant, A bar plus B bar. Magnitude of resultant is nothing but, this is theta, this is root of A square plus B square plus 2AB cos theta. All done, good. I know the length of the diagonal. But how do I calculate this angle? Alpha is what? How do I calculate the angle? The same way, you drop a perpendicular to the extended side of this. This is perpendicular. You know, if this is B and this is also theta, if this is A, you know, this is A cos theta. We have already done that. This is A sin theta. Right? Now, tan alpha is equal to, there is a bigger right angle triangle, no? This right angle triangle. In that right angle triangle, tan alpha equal to opposite side, which is A sin theta divided by adjacent side, which is B plus A cos theta. Okay, so you know the value of A, B and theta, substitute in this, you get tan alpha. Once you get the value of tan alpha, you can find alpha. If you have a logarithm book or an app, internet, you can find alpha from tan alpha. Understood or not? So you can know exactly what is the angle made by resultant of two vectors with one of the vectors. So this angle you will get. How do you find this angle? Let us say beta. How do I find beta? Beta is nothing but theta minus alpha. The total angle theta you know, alpha is just calculated. Beta is nothing but theta minus alpha. So you don't have to have a separate formula for that. Understood? However, if A and B are equal, if magnitude of A bar is equal to magnitude of B bar is equal to K, then the diagonal would be an angular bisector, which means then alpha is equal to theta by 2. Directly you can say. Then alpha is equal to theta by 2. You can in fact prove that with this equation. Alpha equal to theta by 2 can be proved from there. Okay, I will leave it to you. You try to prove it yourself. All I am saying is this A, this B, this A are all equal. So from the denominator, you can take B and A common because they are same. From there, you try to simplify, use trigonometric ratios for multiple angles, sin 2 theta, cos theta, such formula you use. You will be able to prove that tan alpha equal to tan theta by 2. So alpha equal to theta by 2. Like that, you can prove. Please prove it yourselves. Not very important, but anyway, it is there. So understood, that is about resultant of two vectors, adding two vectors. Analytically, how do I add two vectors? So that is diagrammatic way of doing it. Analytically, how do I do? So we'll do a question. Say for example, magnitude of A bar equal to 3 units. Magnitude of B bar is equal to 4 units. Angle between A bar and B bar is equal to 60 degree. Find. So these are the questions, okay? Find magnitude of A bar plus B bar. Magnitude of 3A bar plus 2B bar. Okay, first we'll start with that. What is magnitude of A bar plus B bar? magnitude of A bar plus B bar is equal to square root of A square plus B square plus 2 into 3 into 4, 2 into A into B into cos theta, cos 60 degree. What is cos 60 degree? Half. So this half and 2 get cancelled. So this will give you root of 37 units. Okay. 3 square plus 4 square is 25 plus 3 into 4 is 12. 25 plus 12 is 37 under root 37 units. Magnitude of A bar plus B bar. Simple enough. This is first one. Second one. In the second question, you are not adding A bar and B bar. Right? You are adding 3A bar and 2B bar. What is 3A bar? 3A bar is a vector whose magnitude is 3 times that of magnitude of A bar. So 9 units. What is magnitude of 2B bar? 2B bar is a vector that has a magnitude 2 times that of B bar. So magnitude of 2B bar is 2 times that of B, 8 units. What about angle between these two vectors? Angle between 3A bar, 2B bar. 3A bar, it's a positive scalar multiplied to a vector. Direction does not change. 2B bar, it's a positive scalar multiplied to a vector. Direction does not change. So 3A bar is in the same direction as A bar. 2B bar is in the same direction as B bar. So if the angle between A bar and B bar is theta or 60 degree, then angle between 3A bar and 2B bar must also be 60 degree only. Same directions only, no? So this angle is also 60 degree. So now I can calculate magnitude of 3A bar plus 2B bar. How do I do that? Root of what? Root of 3 square. You cannot substitute 3 square there. Now you are substitute 9 and 8 here. So 9 square plus 8 squared plus 2 into 9 into 8 into cos theta, which is 60 degree. No, cos 60 degree is half. The 2's get cancelled, giving you root of 81 plus 64 plus 72. So that would be 136, 137, 217 units under root, of course. So magnitude of 3A bar plus 2B bar is nothing but root of 217 units. Understood these? First one and second one? Okay. So the next slide. Third question is the same question, A bar, B bar. In third question, we'll do what is magnitude of A bar minus B bar. Fourth question can do 3A bar minus 4B bar. And so on. Okay. How do I do it? Now, regarding this question, what do I know? I know that magnitude of A is 3 units. Magnitude of B bar is 4 units. But see, you have to calculate, you know that angle between A bar and B bar is 60 degree. You have to calculate magnitude of A bar minus B bar. I know how to calculate the magnitude of sum of two vectors. I don't know how to calculate the magnitude of subtraction of two vectors. So what will I do now is this. I will convert that subtraction question into an addition question. So I'll write magnitude of A bar minus B bar as magnitude of A bar plus of minus B bar. Can I do that? I can write A bar minus B bar as A bar plus of minus B bar. I can do that. Now I am adding A bar and minus B bar. So those two vectors I am now adding now. So I can know magnitude of A bar equal to 3 units. Magnitude of minus B bar equal to same method of B bar, 4 units. Now what do you know about angle between those two? Angle between A bar and minus B bar. Not angle between A bar and B bar. Now we are doing angle between A bar and minus B bar. How do I find that angle? You know that angle between A bar and B bar is 60 degree, which means if this is A bar and this is B bar, you know that this is 60 degree because they are drawn co-initially. Angle between A bar and B bar is 60 degree. You know that. How do I find angle between A bar and minus B bar? You have A bar. Don't worry about it. You have B bar. Draw minus B bar now. So this would be minus B bar. Angle between A bar and minus B bar would be this angle. What do you think it will be? 120 degree. Because these two angles form a straight pair. This is 60 degree. This must be 180 degree minus 60 degree is equal to 120 degree. So if angle between A bar and B bar is 60 degree, then angle between A bar and minus B bar is 180 degree minus theta, 60 degree is 120 degree. Okay. Or in a general sense, if the angle between A bar and B bar is theta, then the angle between A bar and minus B bar is 180 degree minus theta. Or angle between minus a bar and b bar is also 180 degree minus theta. Or angle between minus a bar and minus b bar is theta again. You're changing the direction of both the vectors. So again the angle will retain. Okay. So anyway, angle between a bar and minus b bar is 180 degree minus 60 degree, which is 120 degree. Now I can calculate magnitude of a bar plus of minus b bar, that which is magnitude of a bar minus b bar. Now I can calculate this. This would be what? Square root of magnitude of a bar whole square, 3 square, plus magnitude of minus b bar whole square, 4 square. It's not minus 4 square, it is still minus 4 whole square. You cannot say minus 4 at all. Magnitude of vector cannot be negative. Okay, so 4 square plus 2 into 3 into 4 into cos of 120 degree. What is the value of cos of 120 degree? Cos 120 degree is equal to cos of 90 degree plus 30 degree. Cos of 90 degree plus alpha is minus sine alpha. So minus sine 30 degree, which is equal to minus half. So cos 120 degree is nothing but minus half. So square root of 3 square plus 4 square minus 2 into 3 into 4 into half. This is what you will have. 2 get cancelled. 3 into 4 is 12. 3 square plus 4 square is 25. 25 minus 12 is 13. So this would be root of 13 units. Okay. Remember, no. This one was 1 unit. This one came to be root of 13 units only. Okay. That is how you find magnitude of resultant. Okay. So how do I do this one? Magnitude of 3a bar minus 4b bar. You guys please do it and tell me the answer. Root of 117, someone says. Manojit wants slides 1. Come on, man. We are in the middle of something. I asked you a question. Solve for it. Root 117, they say. Okay, so what will be the magnitude of this? 3a bar, magnitude of that is 9. 4a bar, the magnitude of that is 16. I can substitute root of 9 square plus 16 square plus 2 into 9 into 16 into cos of 120 degree. Cos of 120 degree is minus half. So this and this get cancelled, putting a minus here. So root of 81 plus 256 minus 144. Okay, 256 minus 144 is 112. Yeah, 256 minus 144 is 112. 112 plus 81. Am I getting a wrong answer? Some of you told 117. How did you get 117? Did I do something wrong here? Yeah, sorry. Okay, there's no point there. That's understood. I'll give some questions as homework maybe now. Basically, you can actually do this now itself. Not a very big deal. I hope you can see the screen. These are some homework questions for today. Third question, magnitude of A bar plus B bar is not greater than magnitude of A bar plus magnitude of B bar. Okay, so that is what is called as triangle inequality. This is called as triangle inequality. In lower classes, you might have come across this phrase, triangle inequality. If you say, it basically says that no side of a triangle can be more than the sum of the other two sides. As simple as that. Very simple statement. No side of a triangle can be more than the sum of the other two sides. It is called triangle inequality. Now, try to prove the triangle inequality using vector quantities analytically as well as diagrammatically. Analytically, you don't have to draw anything. Diagrammatically, as in you should not be writing anything. That's how you are supposed to do. Anyway, try to do this. 3 questions as homework. 3 as in like it has sub questions also. Yeah. These are the homework questions for today. I hope we'll find you all tomorrow also. Tomorrow we will do resolution of vectors. Resultant is done. Maybe we will do more questions on resultant. But tomorrow we will actually do resolution of vectors. And we will also see Cartesian vectors. Cartesian as in I cap, j cap, k cap, etc. All those things we will see tomorrow. Okay. So yeah, see you guys. I will again take pictures of all these slides and I will post it on Google Classroom. Yes, as I already told you. Only the discussion will not happen there, but the material will be, I'll keep posting the material there. Okay. Chalo. See you guys. Bye. Slide 16. Google. Yeah. Slide 16. Ashwin slides, I will post it on Google Classroom. Samhita, Google Classroom. I guess I'm getting used to this. So yeah.